Jesus! What the? Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, oh, shit!
Late one night in 2025, a paranormal investigator returned to a place he had called the Satanic Cult Ritual Forest. The creator behind Exploring with Angelo had become known for solo overnight trips into abandoned locations, haunted woods, and places linked to unexplained activity. This forest had drawn him back before, and now it was drawing him back again. He had stayed away for 2 months, but local reports of robed figures and animal sacrifices brought him back. It was 11 at night when he entered the trees. He was alone. What he did not realize was that someone or something might already be waiting.
What's up, guys? We are back at what we've been calling the Satanic Cult Ritual Forest for a very specific reason. We genuinely believe that there is a cult coming out to these woods. This place is also extremely haunted, and I plan on coming back in here and camping out for the entire night. Basically, I actually know one of the neighbors, and they will not come on camera. They are just so afraid of these freaking people that they've seen on multiple different occasions coming in here in very weird clothing, full garb. The only thing they could describe it as is cult-like. They found animal sacrifices. I have found weird stuff out here as well and had so many weird occurrences. We're going to go deep in there again and see if we can capture anything paranormal on camera.
As he went deeper into the woods, the area seemed to push back against him. He heard movement in the darkness around him and felt certain that something was watching from behind.
That was creepy. I heard something back there, but it also kind of felt almost as if like someone was behind me for a second there. Hello? Okay, whatever. It is a very pleasant night, actually. Not too hot, which is good. Less humidity means less bugs.
He continued through insects and mud until he found a protected clearing good enough to set up camp.
This actually looks like a pretty decent little nook. Let's kind of clean up the ground a little bit. In a few moments, now that I've stopped, I'm kind of noticing how bad the bugs are. So basically, I want to clear this so that way we can actually put the tent here. I guess we'll have a little fire here, I suppose, or maybe even on that side. I swear I just heard whistling again. Like it legit sounds like human whistling almost. Kind of sounded like it came from that direction, but it could just be an owl or some birds or something, I don't know.
He turned on his spirit box to see if the forest would reveal anything about the presence he felt. The device gave a name, Sean, followed by a time reference connected to the 1700s, though.
Sean.
Well, we got the name Sean. Who's Sean? Sean, what are you doing out here? Okay, I swear I just heard that again. It sounded closer this time. What? Dude, that literally sounds like that whistle thing. Mayan whistle or whatever? That is legit probably the 3rd time I've heard that out here. Hi, Sean, are you still there?
Follow is right.
Like that way? What's down that way? Just trees.
Spirits walk.
I knew I was hearing a sizzle, but it's coming from the
1700s.
fire. Okay. What happened in the 1700s?
Brown.
Okay, something's back there.
God protects this place.
Oh, shit. What the hell was that?
Visit.
Who's visiting?
1.
Okay, that sounded like something was right next to me.
Then a sound tore through the forest without warning. It was the raw, chilling shriek of an Aztec death whistle. The source seemed only a few feet away.
Somehow
It's unpleasant here.
flashlight turned on in my pocket.
I enjoy the company. Lungs.
Lungs? What happened to your lungs?
Shush, listen.
Yeah, no kidding. That was the Aztec death whistle. That's what it's called, not the Mayan. I called it the Mayan whistle. That was literally right there. That was so close.
When he returned to camp, something was wrong. The fire he had made from small, loose sticks had been fully rearranged. Heavy pieces of wood were now laid across the embers in a deliberate cross shape.
Why is my stuff all over the place? What the hell? Wait. I didn't do that. I left literally just a bunch of small sticks in there. I think someone came through. Like, I didn't do that. Two little, like, cross things. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, dude, all the wood was piled up here. I don't know what the hell happened here. Somebody clearly came through. They must have, and they messed up the campfire. Well, they didn't mess it up, but like, I did not put this cross here like this. I was trying to avoid using big chunks of wood.
Someone had been there. Even with an obvious sign that another person was nearby, he decided to stay. He got inside his tent, kept a hatchet close, and managed to fall into a light sleep. It did not last.
Jeez, what the? Okay, that got a little close. What was that? What is that? Something's out there.
He suddenly woke and rushed out of his sleeping bag, hurrying to put on his shoes. The whistling had returned clearly human, coming from somewhere deep in the brush.
I think somebody is out here. Considering the circumstances, maybe it's not a good idea to stay out the whole night. I literally, like, just fell asleep, too. Okay. I don't know. It sounded like it came from that direction. To be honest, guys, like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave, but at the same time, if someone's out here, like, they could be legit dangerous. Can't they have, like, one chill night out in this place? I mean, this is kind of what we come to figure out here, but, like, why? The heck was that? It's like music. Alright, we're gonna pack it up.
He did not stay. He left the forest fast and later reflected that some places are better left alone. One viewer noted plainly that someone was definitely out there whistling. No one confirmed who rearranged the fire or where the whistling came from. Was it a person trying to scare him away? Or something connected to whatever group had been using those woods? If you were in his position, would you have stayed or left the moment things started going wrong? Paranormal investigator. Dan headed toward the slopes of Pendle Hill, a place permanently tied to the witch trials of 1612. The video was released on October 16, 2024. Dan runs Exploring with Fighters, a channel built around a simple but unsettling idea. Visit the places most people avoid, spend the night, and see what happens. Local legend has long claimed that the spirits of those hanged on that hill never truly left. The crew made camp inside the dense pine forest, hoping for a quiet weekend trip, but a sudden, violent rainstorm trapped them inside the tent. Just as they tried to rest, something moved right outside.
So, as we were just talking, then it looked like somebody just moved the door of the tent.
Go and open it up. I'm curious if the fire's still going.
Yeah, the fire's still going and there's nobody there. It's it could do with some more wood putting on though, because it's getting really low.
Right.
There's nobody out there.
Outside, the campfire was still burning, but the clearing around it was empty. No one was there.
It's so hard, but that was a clear get out, and I get out a lot, and I'm wondering, why do we get out quite a lot? It's like the same.
The silence was then interrupted by a sharp female voice coming through the spirit box device. It did not sound like a whisper. It sounded like an order to leave.
Listen. Baby. You hear that?
Yeah, baby.
There's a woman who very quietly says, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You hear it then?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what you're trying to tell us? Have you got a baby? So this has said so far something weight there, knife, and post. Your family. Whose family? Is it because I called you sisters?
Your family.
My family. Yeah.
No, your family.
I'm hiding. What do you mean?
Not as in, it's your family, as in, you are family.
Oh, right, okay.
Soon after, a softer voice followed, gentle and motherly, repeating one word. The presence identified itself as family and revealed that it had been hiding somewhere in the nearby brush, watching the investigators from the dark.
You hear that shit?
No.
Oh, yeah.
This one will be different. Listen to this.
Yeah.
This one will be different.
What do they mean by that, like?
Oh, let's listen to the rest.
Then the atmosphere changed completely. The warmth seemed to drain from the air, and the tone became hostile. A woman's voice came through the device with what seemed like a direct warning that this night would not unfold like the others.
Yes! Oh! Right, listen again.
hell.
Listen.
Yes.
Alice!
Oh my God!
I'm pretty sure it goes.
Alice! That's
Listen,
Alice.
listen.
When Dan mentioned the historical arrests linked to Malkin Tower, the device reacted strongly. A frantic confirmation came through, followed by an urgent, repeated signal telling them to pay attention. Dan's body temperature noticeably dropped as the exchange continued.
Come on, guys.
That RAM pod's going off outside.
As the group eventually settled down for the night, the detection equipment placed outside began triggering in a steady, rhythmic pattern. Something kept answering every time Dan went deeper into the history of that place. Whether those responses pointed to something real or something else entirely is something the footage alone cannot prove. Would you have kept asking, or would that warning have been enough to make you pack up and leave? The footage comes from Cock Cups, a small U.C. based YouTube channel centered on paranormal exploration and ghost hunting investigations. Their videos often follow visits to places surrounded by local legends and unexplained stories. On February 18, 2026, the team went to Green Mist Road in the United States.
Alright, we pulled up to the second place. Hold on. Yeah, we're here. We're here, as you can see. To read this.
You hear that thing?
Well, I didn't know we were getting out of the car.
One of the most infamous stories involves a woman rumored to have practiced black magic in her home among Blue Mist Road, where locals claim she opened portals to dark dimensions, leaving the land cursed. Another chilling legend tells a father who, in a fit of rage, murdered his entire family and concealed their bodies in septic tanks. Be quiet. Okay. Hold up. Okay. Hold it.
An area known for strange folklore and unsettling reports. What starts as a quiet nighttime exploration gradually becomes a tense camping encounter in an isolated place. One of the best-known local stories involves a woman rumored to have practiced black magic inside her home along Blue Mist Road. According to local accounts, people believed she had opened portals connected to dark dimensions, leaving the nearby land cursed. Another disturbing legend tells of a father who, during a violent outburst, allegedly killed his entire family and hid their bodies inside septic tanks. The team reaches Green Mist Road, a place locally tied to unsettling legends and strange stories. As they begin walking along the overgrown road, they talk about some of the darker tales connected to the area. These include rumors about unusual rituals said to have happened nearby, along with a tragic story involving a family that once lived there.
Another chilling legend tells a father who, in a fit of rage, murdered... What's that? Is that fucking a rope? There's a rope.
Where? Where?
There's a rope. Yeah, oh, it's a power line, guys. It's only fucking... I heard something over there. It's water. We gotta keep going, guys.
While continuing down the path, the team spots a rope tied to a nearby tree. The unexpected sight makes them stop, unsure whether earlier visitors left it behind or whether it was placed there for another reason.
If anybody's here, make yourself known. Is anybody here?
Then a faint, unidentified sound comes from the direction of nearby water. The team stops walking and listens closely. Although the sound is quiet, it feels unusual enough to make them trade uneasy looks while scanning the dark surroundings. Trying to provoke a response, one investigator calls into the darkness, asking if anyone might be nearby. The group slowly keeps moving down the path, listening carefully for any other sounds. Eventually, the team decides to leave the area, feeling unsettled. They reflect on the strange energy of the location and the disturbing folklore that has surrounded the road for years. Sometimes the environment, the silence, and small unexplained details can create the sense that something is wrong. If you suddenly heard a strange sound while exploring a place like this at night, what would you do? The next unsettling footage comes from Take a Peek at This, a UK-based travel and van life channel that visits historic and unusual places. In this episode, the hosts travel to Pluckley, Kent, widely considered one of England's most haunted villages. Filmed on February 18th, 2025. The visit begins calmly, but gradually becomes a tense camping encounter as darkness settles over the village. Their investigation starts at the Black Horse Inn, a historic pub long connected to reports of paranormal activity.
She is believed to be a member of the Dering family, buried in the churchyard, often seen weeping by her gravestone, carrying a red rose.
The white lady that she being seen in the church, the feeling inside the church when you're inside is very...
I know lots of people don't believe in like ghosties and spirits, but I genuinely have seen things that I cannot explain. So there's...
Inside the building, the hosts talk about stories that have circulated for years as they move through the pub. They mention other accounts reportedly shared by locals, although nothing unusual happens during their visit. The building's long reputation for strange activity keeps the atmosphere uneasy.
So we came back from the pub after dinner. So before we get cozy and back in the van, probably the scariest sounding place in Pluckley, which is called Screaming Woods. So we're gonna go for a short walk in the woods.
The investigation then continues to St. Nicholas Church, another location closely tied to Pluckley's long history of ghost stories. There, they visit a grave connected to the legend of the Red Lady, a figure said to appear in the churchyard. They also discuss reports of the White Lady, who some believe moves through the inside of the church. The quiet surroundings give the place a subdued but unsettling feeling.
I can hear the screams. The thing is, we need to try not to get lost.
Later, the hosts walk farther into nearby woodland while discussing several old legends connected to the area. Over the years, locals have shared many strange stories linked to these woods. At one point, the hosts stopped to talk about other reports tied to what locals sometimes call the Screaming Woods. Although the hosts do not experience any clear paranormal events themselves,
I would say that if you put me in Blean Woods or Perry Woods at this time of the night, there's going to be an element of fear to it because it's dark. But when I saw what I saw a few years ago, I had a feeling before I saw anything. The sounds weird, but the atmosphere just completely shifted.
The mix of isolation, darkness, and local folklore keeps tension present throughout the walk. The night ends with the hosts returning to their camper van after visiting several of Pluckley's best-known haunted locations. While the experience is less dramatic than the village's reputation may suggest, the places still carry a strong sense of history and atmosphere. Places with a long past and a dark reputation can turn a quiet night into an unsettling camping encounter. When local legends and isolation come together, even a simple walk can feel different. If you were exploring a place like this at night, what would you do? On the night before a trip to Ireland, a Filipino urban explorer put his responsibilities aside and drove alone into the frozen Canadian Appalachians. This footage comes from Paranormal Discovery, uploaded on February 26, 2026. He was returning to the Deadlands, a place where he and his fiancée had earlier encountered something that seemed to take physical form.
I am out here in the Deadlands again. Matter of fact, in the exact same spot as the video before this. We had our tent out here, literally right here. I don't know if I could even take them. Anyways, I'm back here solo running this tonight. I'm not gonna do anything too extraordinary tonight. So yeah, Chelsea and I discovered this side of the Deadlands, which last time we actually, thought I just heard some. We actually are convinced that we ran into something like an entity.
He goes back to the exact same spot as before, where their tent had once stood, with remnants still stuck in the ground because of the cold. This time, he is alone, planning only a simple follow-up visit rather than anything extreme. Still, the memory of what happened there remains clear, especially the belief that they had run into some kind of entity in that area. With no cell service and temperatures dropping, he sets up camp by himself. Being alone changes everything. The same forest now feels strange and threatening.
Yeah, the vibes are completely different here when you're alone. Like they know you're here, and it's kind of ominous right now. It just feels ominous and like almost stupid to be out here alone. Got all the wood in there. Woo! Yeah! It's nippy out tonight. Okay, what was that? What's there? Already, dude. All freaking ready.
As though the environment itself knows he is there, a heavy, hard-to-explain pressure builds, creating a constant sense of unease as he prepares his campsite and fire. As night moves in, the atmosphere becomes more oppressive. The forest feels tighter, almost closing around him. When he turns on a spirit communication device, responses come through immediately. The words suggest fear.
Let's throw on some spirit talker. As you can tell, I get really, really excited for food. Whew, that is heaping now.
Wilson, we have eyes on you.
Whoa, we have eyes on you. Shit. Can you tell me who this is? Or what you are? Are you a cryptid being? Or are you indigenous perhaps? Or...
Burned.
Burned! Burned! What did we get? The past two videos, burned. This is crazy. There has to have been a fire.
She scares me.
Whoa.
Her.
She scares me, her. Who are you talking about? Damn.
Mention something burned, and point to a lingering presence connected to a past event, then the tension breaks. A clear, human-like whistle cuts through the darkness. The sound does not remain in one place. Instead, it moves, circling him from different directions.
What the hell? That was like a whistle. Like whistling. Someone's legit whistling. What the hell? I don't get a good vibe anymore. I feel like I'm just like in a trap right now. Oh, what the whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa, whoa! Who's there? Circling me. It's in all different directions. What the f is going on? Who's there? Show yourself! What are you?
The feeling changes from uneasy to dangerous, as if he has stepped into something invisible that is already surrounding him, trying to understand what is happening. He scans the area with his light, but nothing appears. The feeling of being watched grows stronger. As he checks the perimeter, a loud crash erupts back at his campsite. Something is moving through his gear.
Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, oh, shit. No, wait. That came from the camp. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That came from the camp. What the fuck? Something over here? What the? This is fucked up. What is this? What are you? I am speechless right now. What the fuck is going on? Nothing. Literally.
But when he rushes back, nothing is there. No person, no animal, nothing visible at all. The experience starts wearing on him. His thoughts feel foggy, and the pressure returns stronger than before, affecting his focus and sense of control. The situation no longer feels safe. The environment, the sounds, and the unseen presence come together into something overwhelming. Realizing he is no longer welcome, he decides to leave. The exploration ends suddenly as he retreats from the mountains, taking the footage with him, but losing the calm he had before arriving. In places like this, isolation and memory can blend in ways that make everything feel more real than it may be. But when sounds move, objects shift, and reactions feel physical, it leaves one simple question. Was this only a mind under pressure, or was something actually there forcing him away? The next video comes from Backcountry Benny. Based Bushcraft channel centered on solo wilderness camping and survival skills. It is June 17, 2025, in a remote wooded area in the United States. Benny enters the forest without a set plan. The terrain is thick, visibility is limited, and there is no established campsite. He starts scouting early, searching for a balance between cover, level ground, and distance from obvious wildlife paths. The isolation feels immediate.
And I noticed that there was bear dung here. There aren't many bears in this area, so it's pretty cool that they're here. I'm gonna get away from here. I don't stand a chance against a bear, so I'm just gonna camp far enough away.
He spots large animal droppings along a game trail. The size suggests a larger animal, possibly deer, elk, or bear. The key detail is where they are, directly on an active path. Rather than continue along it, he moves away. It is a preventative choice, lowering the chance of running into wildlife later.
All right, guys, this is the spot. It's shaded, it's cool. I'm gonna get camp set up real quick. Might relax a little bit, so. Dang, that thing's like 60 pounds. Whew. Okay, so I got a little bit of an area cleared out, but it's kind of soaked, so I'm gonna let it dry out for a little bit. So I'm gonna go find some rocks down at the creek so I can build a fire pit. Yeah, that's it. Go grab some rocks. I kind of want to camp here, but there are a lot of bugs, and there's also a lot of animal trails, and it's not really worth it. So I'm gonna haul them back to camp and then get a fire pit set up. Okay, so I didn't really think this through, but I need to actually build my shelter first so I know where to put the fire pit. So I'm gonna build my shelter before actually building the fire pit, but I got the rocks already, so it doesn't matter. But first,
he chooses a shaded spot and begins building camp. The ground is partly cleared but still damp, so he gives it time to dry. He collects rocks from a nearby creek. Planning to build a fire pit, as he works, he rethinks the layout, deciding to build his shelter first so the fire pit can be placed more effectively. The setup keeps changing, including shifting the shelter from an A-frame to a lean-to based on the conditions. The work is physically demanding, and his fatigue becomes clear as he continues alone.
Going down, it's gonna be probably dark here in 30 minutes, so hopefully tonight we don't have any issues with animals. The only one I'm really worried about tonight is the black bear. Again, I haven't seen him today, but if there's a bear close, I want nothing to do with it. All right, guys, it's about midnight, so I'm gonna hit the hay. It's about 50-ish degrees, so not too cold. I've got a great fire. I've got loads of firewood and a bunch of blankets. So yeah, that's all about I got for you. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Really did not sleep that well. I was sleeping on an angle too. Anyways, now that I'm awake, I am going to get out of here.
As evening nears, daylight starts fading quickly. He stays aware of possible wildlife, especially black bears. Even though none have appeared that day, by midnight, the conditions are under control. The temperature remains moderate. The fire is steady, and enough firewood and blankets are ready to keep him warm through the night. Morning comes without any major incidents. The campsite shows no direct signs of intrusion. Small changes nearby suggest natural movement, likely from small animals or environmental causes, but nothing comes close to the shelter. The result reflects the earlier decisions he made while scouting and setting up. In places like this, reading signs early and choosing the right location often stops problems before they begin. When nothing happens, it usually means the choices made earlier worked. And that raises a simple question. Was this just a quiet, controlled night in the wild? Or did those early decisions prevent something that could have happened?